Hi, Karen Curry Parker here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. As you can see, I'm not in my usual habitat. I have fled Minnesota for the week to spend some really beautiful, sweet time with my family, which is, for me personally, the greatest thing I can ever think about doing. So I'm excited to be here and excited to be sharing the celestial weather with you guys for this week. So let's get started. Let's start first by reviewing the last couple of weeks. We've had energy that has been very similar in feel, in a way, to a Mercury retrograde. It hasn't been Mercury retrograde, but it might have felt like it. Some of you may have felt like communication was not quite working, that every time you tried to talk, maybe you were struggling with identifying what you were trying to say and how to maybe shift into a new way of showing up in your relationships and communicating differently in your relationships. We are kind of done with that energy, so yay! It's definitely been a cycle of kind of digging deep and uprooting some of the murkiness that's underneath and pulling it up to the surface and sort of going through it and really looking at where am I at, where am I going, what do I want, what do I need to let go of. And certainly the moon cycles and the eclipse cycles have been supporting us and really going through a powerful cycle of release. It's a cycle of release that is ultimately designed to cause us to bring ourselves closer to the truth of who we are and closer to allowing ourselves to create that which is really worthy of ourselves. And I hope that over the last couple of weeks you've really been asking yourself deeply, what do I deserve? What am I worthy of? And is my life truly a reflection of the value of who I am and the reflection of the value of me as a once in a cosmic lifetime event? I hope you've discovered that. If that's not true for you, that it's time to make some big forward momentum steps to take you in a cycle of really beginning to craft a life that reflects back to you what you're really worthy of and who you really are. So we've had this 2-week cycle. It's been pretty intense. Some of you have maybe experienced it in a very intense way. We're now moving into the second part of the cycle. And what's so profoundly beautiful about this to me is that, first of all, in our human design year, we have 4 quarters in the year, and each quarter sort of completes its own unique creative cycle. We are in the winter cycle right now, so we are really still kind of going deep. We're sort of looking at what's hidden, but we've moved from the releasing part of what's hidden to really looking at the seeding part of what's hidden. When you think about gardening and you think about growing, of course here I'm standing in front of bamboo. Bamboo is a good example of this, right? When you plant a bamboo plant, it starts really small. In fact, it's kind of almost invisible, and it doesn't really do anything for a couple years until when the momentum is right, when the alignment is right, when the cycle is right, it then goes through cycles of massive growth. Right now in the quarter that we're in, with the energy that we're playing with, and certainly with the energy that we're playing with from the sun and the earth, and even with the sun and the earth over the next couple of weeks, we are laying seeds. We are starting the power of dreaming, and we are dreaming about, okay, we've created all this room. You're dreaming about what are you going to fill this room with. So you've done sort of emotional, psychological, heart-based feng shui clearing stuff, right? You've done Marie Kondo of the heart of the last couple of weeks. Now we're looking at, okay, I've got this open space. What do I want? What do I want to seed in my reality? What questions do I have for the cosmos that could bring to me perhaps the answers that would show me the way to manifest, to create that which I'm truly desiring in my life? So we start this week with the sun in the gate 30, which is called the clinging fire in the traditional I Ching. The earth is in the 29. The energies of the sun and the earth are asking us, what are you committed to? What are you devoted to? That 30 energy with the sun shining on that energy and bringing that archetype to our presence, that 30 energy brings us fire. It brings us passion. It's the drive to sustain your dream, to sustain your vision, the vision that you started crafting at the beginning of this cycle in the middle of January. To sustain that vision long enough to wait until the timing is right, the feelings are right, the emotions are right, the circumstances are right. You know, sometimes when we create something, I think especially nowadays, we have this idea that, okay, I have this idea, this dream, I'm going to hold this positive thought for 64 seconds and poof, voila, it's going to manifest in my life. And the truth is, there's a lot of moving parts in manifesting in the third dimension. And sometimes when things aren't showing up, it's not because you're screwing up or because the cosmos is broken or because there's maybe a dark hidden dream about the universe, maybe it doesn't really work to support you. It's none of the above. It's just simply that sometimes things have to show up in right timing, and that part of right timing is our matching the energy of what we're trying to create, our capacity to hold that fire, that clinging fire, under the cauldron of what we're cooking on long enough for all the parameters, all the little bits and pieces, all the aspects to then show up in our reality in right timing, in the right way, in the most abundant way possible. When you can't hold that energy, when you burn out on the dream because it's not happening fast enough or it feels like you've given it your all, then we sometimes lose the impetus to keep creating it. This week and next week especially, the universe and the planets are training us, reminding us, strengthening our muscles to cultivate the energy of faith. Because before that seed can emerge from the dirt, right, into the light, it has to lay the groundwork, right? It's got to put the roots down. It's got to make sure it's got the right nutrient base. The little seed thing has to unfold and push upward through the dirt to the light. That's where we are right now. We're laying the groundwork. And even if you can't see the evidence yet of what you're wanting to create, you're still doing the work. You're cooking. You're holding the flame under the cauldron of your dreams. And as you hold that flame and stay devoted to the maintenance of that flame, stoke that fire, put it, keep putting the wood underneath there, keep paying attention to the sweetness of the dream, the possibility and the potential of the dream. Keep your energy high around that dream. Wait in an intelligent and faith-filled way. See then what shows up. And if it's not showing up, it might just simply be an issue of timing. And sometimes when it doesn't show up, it might be because the universe is protecting you, and that sometimes the things we think we want are really the things we've been told we should be wanting, and that in fact the things that are already before us, the things that are manifesting, are actually the things we really want, and it's simply a matter of shifting perspective. I'm going to share with you a really quick story about this. Yesterday I went shell hunting with my mom. Now my mom has a really difficult time walking at this phase in her life, and so she can't go very far, and we went down to the beach, which was already a pretty long haul for her, and we were looking for big shells, right? And of course we really couldn't get to where the big shells were. It was too much of a walk, too much of a stretch. They were rolling in the surf, and Mom couldn't get in there and really grab them and bend over and lift them up. So I sat Mom down on this little shell break in the sand, and we were both sort of looking at it like, meh, these little crunchy shells, right? But we sat there, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, leaning up against each other. And I was so conscious of the fact that I don't know how many times I have left to sit searching through shells, shoulder to shoulder with my mom. And as we started going through these little tiny shells that maybe were sort of trashy, right? We started to see that each one of them in their own way was quite precious and unique. There were some that were pink, and some that were black, and some that were misshapen, and some that were perfectly shapen. And the perspective shift that came from, oh, I'm not going to go down the disappointment round around the big shells, but to really be present to the moment of the little shells and the time with my mom. That shift in perspective made me go, okay, wait a minute. Maybe what was supposed to happen happened. Maybe we didn't get the big shells, but we got the right shells and we got the right time. Maybe some of what's going on in your life is the same kind of a story. Maybe there's just a little shift in the perspective that can help you see that maybe you're already getting exactly what you want and need. And even if you're not, I promise you this, you can stoke the fires of your creativity in a much more impassioned, much more successful way when you focus on the currency of gratitude. Gratitude is the currency of transformation, and when you stay in that place of noticing and appreciating, and I realize it's kind of Pollyanna-ish, but there's actually lots and lots of research now that shows when you look at what you do have, when you look at what is working, when you look at the blessings of the moment and you stay present to it, then the speed at which you arrive to this destination that you're going actually speeds up. Not only that, you have a heck of a lot better ride. You don't miss anything because you're so focused on what's going to happen over there and you're present to here. Your creativity goes up, you get healthier, your heart functions better, and you're happier. So take these next 2 weeks to really keep those fires stoked with the energy of gratitude. Keep your perspective shifted and focused on what's working. Most importantly, especially with our new moon energy this week on Thursday, keep dreaming and keep clearing anything out of the way that isn't worthy of the beauty and the magnificence of who you truly are. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you take some time this week to really appreciate the love and the gifts of your life. I will talk to you next week when we'll be working on more themes about faith. All right. Bye.